Hi, I'm Umang. I'm a pass out of the class of 2005-2006 and I'm currently the CEO of cardeco.com, Gadi.com and Zigwheels. I look after the entire India business. My educational background prior to joining ISB was very typical. I was a computer science engineer from RV College, Bangalore. After RV, spent a couple of years at this very cool startup called Talisma. It was one of the places to join out of engineering college, highest paid salary, and at Talisma spent most of the 2 years playing Age of Empires 2 and doing a lot of computer gaming. It's while I was at Talisma that I really discovered about ISB and then applied and joined ISB. So while I was at Talisma, I figured that computer coding is not what I really want to do long term in life. I think I was increasingly clear that I wanted to do my MBA. However, I wasn't so convinced that I want to do MBA in India, and that's when my father actually kept this Economic Times article on my desk saying there's this brand new college called ISB, it's making a lot of waves. Back then ISB was not as big as it is today, and I read it, I saw the kind of professors who taught over there, and I got convinced that this is perhaps the place that I should apply. I had a very high CAT score, so when I applied to ISB I hadn't even written my GMAT. And I got into ISB at that point of time with a provisional admit as long as I had a week to write my GMAT exam and score 680 to get in. So that was quite an experience back then. I think that 1 year at ISB was truly transformative for me, and I say so with a great amount of feeling. The biggest thing that it did for me is it changed my benchmark in life. Prior to ISB, I was this intelligent, nerdy kid who who was good at coding, who didn't really know too much about the world. And through that 1 year, two things happened. I started to learn a lot more about the business world through the case studies, understand how others built up really large companies. And I think that opened up my mind, it changed my perspective as to what is it that I really want to do long term. The second thing that really happened was the peer group was exceptional. I think the quality of peers was much higher than what I had ever worked with earlier, and this is despite having 18 IITians at Talisma with me in my batch. And it changed my benchmark. I then pushed myself to improve, to strive for more. I saw how others have done a lot in their life. That year changed me. It taught me about what all I can do, how many things I can simultaneously be good at. I was one of those students who was a merit lister, top 10, top 2 when placements happened. I participated actively in a lot of B-school competitions, won a lot of stuff, so very active in extracurricular. So did multiple things simultaneously while at campus, and I really discovered what I am capable of through that 1 year. I started to realize that I perhaps was shortchanging myself earlier, and I can do more than I ever thought I could do. So one transformative experience while at ISB, which I very vividly remember, is my term 4 at ISB. And I was from this young engineering college, not an IIT and etc. No one had expected me to be doing as well as I was doing out here. So term 4 had passed. Term 4, term 5 grades were what were really used for placements. And back then, looking back now, you realize placements wasn't that important, but that time, believe you me, it was the be all and end all on campus. And that one term, term 5, is where I scored a 4.0. I left campus 3 times to participate in various B school competitions. It's in the term 4, term 5 holidays is when I went for this special ITC e-Chopal project. So I think I must have slept 4 hours a day that whole term. And that was the term that I really learned that I have another gear in myself, that I can do a lot more than I ever benchmarked, because not only did I do well academically and in terms of extracurricular, I also went out and did a lot of things outside of campus. So, fun times. I will never recall, I'll always remember that term as me realizing that I have a lot more potential to do stuff. My greatest takeaways from ISB, I think, have changed with time. While at ISB and just after, I think the changing of the benchmark, the fact that I realized I have a lot more potential to do a lot more, finding my calling in life. I love the stuff I studied. Post that, I love jumping into a startup and working over there. So that was a lot of fun. Today, though, 10 years out, I would say one of the biggest takeaways is the peer network. 10 years out, I can see where a lot of my peers have also gone forward quite far in life, and suddenly you have access to a network which is truly powerful. So today I think the peer network adds a lot more value. I think the need to start up, the risk-taking ability is intrinsic to me. I think it was always there. What happened while at ISB, and even pre-ISB, I had decided to join a startup rather than taking a conventional job. While at ISB, I think the best thing that happened to me is that I screwed my BCG McKinsey interviews, and I didn't get into one of those hallowed consulting firms. And it forced me to actually go down a different path. I decided to take an unconventional route and join a gentleman called Dr. Pramat Raj, and I'm very inspired by him. He was the first dean of ISB, and he was a senior director at McKinsey. He was leaving McKinsey at that point of time to become the CEO of ABP Group, and I followed him into Anand Bazar Patrika. Post ISB, that year and a half with Pramat was very transformative in terms of changing my thinking. I saw him leave to start up his own company, 9.9 Media, followed him over there. I got exposed to the fact that digital media, actually internet disrupts print media more than it disrupts any other media. And the three largest advertising sectors in print were real estate, education and auto. So I came to Delhi, joined the startup 9.9 Media, and there were, along with three other batchmates, we started up this company called Accentium Web Private Limited. Vivek was the main founder. He came from a reasonably well-to-do family, so he put up the initial capital, and Ankur, Bharni and I joined. And the idea was that we would do both an auto startup and an education startup. The auto startup got called Gadi.com. The education startup, we initially called it Gurukul, and then we changed its name to Study Times and Study Nation. That's a long story out there. But the genesis of it actually lay in that exposure I got in a year and a half. Now, Vivek was already doing his own startup, Desi Martini, back then. And we got together, I think as a team, probably one of the best teams that came together, and these were all batchmates at ISB. Today, if I see individually, each of us has done exceptionally well. I went on to sell Gadi to first to Naspers and later to Cardeco.com. Ankur moved on to become the CEO of Groupon Asia Pacific, and is currently running an entrepreneurial venture of his own, which is Groupon India. Bharni runs the second largest mobile research site in the country, 91 Mobiles, and Vivek is continuing to run some of the initial company websites that we had started, but focusing a lot on AdLift, which is the SEO firm that we had done. So each of us individually has done exceptionally well, and the seed for that actually came in that 1 year at ISB, where the four of us got together. So 10 years out of ISB, ISB has played a very key role in the way my life has shaped up. ISB is where I found my co-founders with whom I started up the company. I already spoke about how ISB changed my benchmark in life. But today, increasingly, I see ISB as an enabler. I come back actively to ISB to recruit the next set of students who are going to help build a really large company for us. Last 3 years consistently I've been coming back, and I'm very impressed with the quality of grads I get here. The other big benefit today that I see from ISB is the peer network. Increasingly, a lot of us have reached positions of strength across industry, whether it's in the VCPE world, whether it is across various other sectors, and that just becomes a huge enabler. Today it's much easier to network into various companies, get into introductions, for funding, reach out to peers, have meaningful conversations that you believe can influence. So today I feel that is perhaps the best thing that's come out of ISB for me. I think ISB is truly a transformative place. If long term you want to be an entrepreneur, I would perhaps recommend ISB over a lot of other schools, and the primary reason is threefold. I think the quality of peers that you get there is far more diverse, and that helps change your perspective and thinking. You also are able to find co-founders out here. The second benefit that ISB really offered me was in terms of the peer benchmark. Part of what enables you to do very well long term is to be able to is that you always benchmark yourself with your peers, and You go to some of the top institutes in the country, you'll always find yourself pushing to do more, always benchmarking with others who are with you, perhaps even starting with them. The third thing is the actual coursework and the kind of exposure you get. It's very unlike most other schools that I have seen. I hire actively across lots of these school campuses, and I think the way courses are taught here, the way professors focus on case studies, the peer interaction that happens in class, because there are far older people, there are far different and diverse perspectives that come in. That plays a role long term. And the third key benefit that ISB provides is in terms of the actual coursework. Two aspects of the coursework. One is the updated curricula and the quality of professors teaching that curricula. The best part is you've got some of the best international profs coming here and teaching you some of the latest things going on internationally. But more critically is the diversity of your peers within the classroom, and the differing points of view that you get. It's not just engineers, it's a lot of people from very different walks of life. It's people with over 10 years experience, 15 years experience, sitting in the same classroom. And I think that personally had the most profound impact for me also. I still recall my group of 6 who I worked with across terms, and there was this gentleman who was 15 years work ex as part of that group, and how much I learned from him, just in conversations, understanding his point of view, the maturity with which he thought. I think that had a very profound impact, and that's one of the reasons why I would say, if you want to be an entrepreneur, this is perhaps one of the best B schools to join.